I never noticed that.
Damn, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah. So distracted by the tank.
That shot so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What is happening, Reject Nation? Greg and John here today. We are going to watch from the channel Canadian Lad. I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League in 0.25 speed, and here's what I found. Now, I've been a big Canadian Lad fan for a very long time now. Fantastic channel, soaring for a reason. It was around when this video came out, when I was trying to get his go-ahead to be able to cover his videos. So I didn't get the go-ahead until recently. I've intentionally avoided this specific one for the day he would finally say, yes, you can cover our videos. Now we are here, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I was gonna wait till September 7th, but I'm like, screw it, let's just watch it now, man. This is when I was like, we gotta start covering Canadian Lad, because this is what I really wanted to see.
Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and I have watched Zack Snyder's Justice League at 0.25 speed, which took me well over 4 days, so I had to make this one count. And guess what? I have found 25 new details from the film, some of which will literally blow your mind and make you appreciate the Snyder Cut even more.
Let's go!
When the Flash fights Superman for the first time, the Flash was ready to use this special power against Superman. Let me explain. Look at how Flash raises his hand as Superman prepares to shoot his laser beam. The Flash signaled with the same gesture again at the end, which allowed him to phase through and survive the blast. So this raise of hand is something that activates his phasing ability. And the fact that he made the same gesture when Superman was about to shoot his laser beam goes to show that this hand gesture is Barry getting ready to do whatever is necessary to survive. And yes, I did notice this Ben Parker Easter egg, but at this point, who didn't? So I'm not including it in the list. Number 2, if you watched the movie, you know that Ares makes a huge blow on Darkseid's right shoulder. He not only managed to make a massive cut on his right shoulder, but he did it through Darkseid's armor. But here's what I noticed, one of my favorite details from the film. Notice after all these years, Darkseid didn't even bother to fix his armor, but get a new one altogether. He's still carrying the memory of his only loss. This shows just how pissed he is at what happened.
That is such a good production design detail, and you know that someone like Zack Snyder would keep that intentionally.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is the kind of character who would want to be reminded of his losses, so he could, like, he's the kind of character who would feel the burden, that pain, have it be served as a reminder.
He's carrying a literal chip on his shoulder.
Oh, that is awesome. That is great. I never noticed that.
When Bruce Wayne brings all of his work friends to the Batcave, Alfred offers to make them some tea, but then says this.
I'll put on the tea. Great. I don't know where we're going to find the cups.
Probably because nobody ever goes there except him and Bruce. But notice when Bruce was talking about his nightmare, in the background we can see some cups. So it seems as though Alfred did manage to find the
They're all
cups.
different.
Number 4,
They're all different
Victor's
cups.
is the funeral of Wonder Woman in his
paper
vision.
cups.
But pay attention to the left side of the screen. Here we can see Darkseid looking down on the funeral. So he's clearly allowing the Amazons to feel the pain of losing one of their best. I think it was probably Darkseid who let the Amazons set up a funeral in the first place. And that's just badass. Also, notice the way Darkseid turns around, comes forward a little and stands there. This is the exact same VFX model of Darkseid that Snyder used later in the climax again, but from a different angle.
I gotta say, Zack Snyder and company are amazing at taking the same shots from things, reusing them, and not having even be not notice it. Like, I rarely ever, I'm like, is that the same shot? It works so well every time.
You get the most you can out of those CG assets.
So impressive.
As expensive and time consuming as they are to make.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Canadian Lad. That was a really good catch.
Darkseid's Omega Beam was a satisfaction for all the DC fans, especially seeing it underwater. The Omega Beam even boiled the water right there, but that's not my detail. I'm gonna freeze this frame right here. Now tell me, what do you see? Nothing yet? How about now? Another clever detail, eh? Number 6. In this scene, Victor's father, Silas Stone, was superheating the mother box, making its core the hottest thing on Earth. Silas realized Steppenwolf will get the mother box, so he infused hit signatures to it, which would allow the heroes to locate it before the unity happened. But in the process, he had to sacrifice himself. Now notice, while he was getting vaporized, he started bleeding from the left side of his chest first, meaning his heart. Kudos to the VFX team for such accurate depiction.
Damn.
Number 7.
That's
Now this one is
heartbreaking.
possibly my favorite detail that I found
Literally.
in this movie.
Okay.
Exactly 24 minutes and 5 seconds of the film are in slow motion, mostly because that's the best way to showcase Flash's abilities. But it's always nice to see his speed from someone else's perspective, and that's what we
Sure.
got to see in this film. When the Flash was saving the civilians from the falling debris, I actually managed to see what it really does at 0.2 Febic speed. He taps the rocks, flying kicks them, punches them, and stands in the center of the group looking up. But here comes my favorite part. For 3 frames, you can even see him standing on the side, thinking about what to do next. So even though all of this happened, Flash is so fast, he even got to think about his next move. That's an amazing
awesome.
detail. Sadly, most people don't even notice.
Whoa! That is a massive, massive reasoning for Canadian Lad to exist.
Absolutely. You would not have caught that at all had you not slowed it down considerably.
It's a 0.25 speed. Because, yeah, I had no idea what the hell he was doing. And obviously, he was like moving rocks and shit.
Yeah.
But to have like that moment where he's moving so fast that he takes time to wonder it, it's pretty much like how when you watch the slow down scene in the movie itself, when he's saving Iris West, you're going to watch him think about what to do. But here it's happening in the super fast motion. And I love that they gave that attention to detail where it's to like let Ezra Miller do a performance, even though it's going by Whiplash face. It's brilliant. That is brilliant. Oh, I love this movie.
When Lois Lane visits a coffee shop at the beginning of the film, Zack Snyder appears in the background as well. I know most of you knew this detail already, but I just wanted to include it as a thank you to Zack Snyder. Number 9. Lois Lane has a pregnancy test kit on a drawer.
I love that
And
flash
at the
one.
end of the film, Bruce congratulates Clark as well.
Congratulations, by the way.
Now, Zack Snyder has confirmed that Lois and Clark are indeed having a baby. Zack had planned that their son would be born without any powers, and eventually become the new Batman. Number 10. At the end of the film, when Martian Manhunter takes off from Bruce Wayne's house, if you watch this scene at 0.2 Febic speed, you'll notice the Hall of Justice or Wayne Manor is under construction. A very, very subtle Easter egg. But it's kind of funny that people keep wondering who Batman is, while Bruce Wayne literally lives a mile away from the Hall of Justice.
That's a great point.
Time travels and reverses the explosion, the body of Superman starts to rematerialize. But notice when the same thing happens for Cyborg, the VFX department made sure to only put Flash on his face and not his body. I know most of you lads have probably noticed it too at regular speed, but it looks so much better in slow motion.
Yeah.
We gotta give credits to the VFX team for such attention to
Absolutely,
detail. Number
absolutely.
12. When Victor gets a vision of the Nightmare timeline, he sees Superman crying with the dead body of Lois Lane on his arm. Then Darkseid enslaves Superman probably with the anti-life. Now notice in the background we can see Robin's suit that we've previously seen in Batman v Superman. So this confirms
neat.
this event is taking place in the Batcave.
In the Batcave,
and that's
yeah.
why Superman becomes evil in the Nightmare timeline. Because
Oh,
now he
damn.
blames Batman for the death of Lois Lane. Initially, when there was no hope of getting a Snyder Cut, in a Q&A session, Zack Snyder actually revealed his plans for Justice League 2. Had Zack continued to work on the DC Extended Universe, Justice League 2 would somewhat look like this. Batman convinced the League that they should catch Darkseid by surprise before he invades the Earth again. So Superman entrusts Batman to keep Lois safe with him. So they hide her in the Batcave, but Darkseid finds it out and goes to the Batcave and kills her. This triggers the
God
Nightmare
damn.
timeline as seen in Victor's vision,
Wow.
and the chaos continues until Flash travels back in time to warn Bruce about what happens. But Flash mistakenly arrives at an earlier
that
point,
would've been
which
so
we saw
cool.
in Batman v Superman. But then he travels again to the right moment and tells Bruce to save Lois at any cost. This time Batman sacrifices his life instead of Lois, and the League defeats Darkseid as well. And this is how Justice League 2 and 3 would have panned out.
That is so cool that Zack Snyder literally thought, how do I take a scene out of what I had planned in like Justice League? I don't know if this was originally that scene in there of Lois being burnt to a crisp and Superman holding her in his hands was going to be in the original version of this of Justice League. For him knowing like his odds of getting a Justice League 2 don't seem likely, but to implement that and tease it within there, and then let it be known like, no, yeah, there's the Batcave right there. Just with seeing the Robin outfit because I had no idea where that location was, and the movie doesn't even say specifically specifically who Superman is holding, knowing what Zack Snyder's plans are, and then seeing the location setting. Literally having the bat suit there from BVS confirms it all. How does the description not make you want to see how this all planned? That would be so awesome. Even if they just do exactly what's planned, it would be so awesome.
Yeah, it'd be harrowing.
Yeah, God. Fuck. We gotta get it back. Come on, Discovery.
Barry acknowledges that using his power causes him to lose an extreme amount of calories, which isn't safe. So he has to consume a lot of calories to balance it out, which he calls a snack hole.
Caused me to burn a tremendous amount of calories. I am a snack hole.
Now look at what Alfred prepared for Barry. A huge bowl of Ruffles chips. Number 14. At the end of the film, Lex Luthor offers Deathstroke
Those
some
calories, boy.
Care for a glass of goo, Daddy Mom?
Now this champagne is sold in the real world for $1.4 million a bottle. Just a random fact I thought you lads would like to know. Number 15. At the end of the film, during the nightmare sequence, this shot of Superman slowly looking upwards is a reused footage from Batman vs Superman.
There you go
Probably
again.
to save some money there. Number 16. Batman tells Alfred that Superman will come back. Alfred asks, "What makes you so sure?" Batman replies, "Faith, Alfred. Faith." If you watched Man of Steel, there's a similar scene where a father from a church tells Clark about the leap of faith.
Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith first. The trust part comes later.
So a nice little connection there. And I'm so happy Snyder has doubled down on this, because faith is one of Batman's core characteristics.
I mean, I know we haven't really been dissecting like the Snyderverse as frequently when all the films were super fresh in my mind, but that is one thing that I really love about the whole experience of watching the connective tissue between the three, because it is one of those things where all the arcs are occurring within this massive storyline here. It's not just what's the next adventure for them to go on. I thought that all three films had this great Superman arc about self-acceptance to tie it back in with faith, with Batman, who was not a believer in BVS, and to go here and then making that full complete like trilogy of the three Snyder films that have come out is a nice like character nuance beat there, because Superman needed to have faith himself, Batman having faith that he would return, Superman does return and help save the day. It's just such a beautiful progression of all the movies. I love it so much.
Well, it makes you appreciate it that much more because it's not only plot beats that are connecting them, it's themes and concepts and challenges for the characters that then become shared down the line.
Yeah, man. Oh, beautiful stuff.
When Barry sneaks into the Star Lab, he shows a fake ID. Now in Joss Whedon's cut, there was a mistake in the date of birth, which would make Barry's fake profile only a 7-year-old kid. But in the Snyder cut, it is fixed. Number 18. Whenever Cyborg sees a vision or when he has to fight one of the mother boxes at the end, he always imagines himself in his human form. But notice, as soon as he comes in terms with this new life that he has, he no longer imagines himself in his human form. So in a way, Victor has accepted the way he is now. Number 19. In the final battle, when Superman arrives for the first time and says not impressed, it's actually taken directly from the comics. Number 20. After Bruce Wayne rides off with Barry, there's a billboard here that says, "You are not alone." This is a real-life foundation that works to prevent suicides. One of the focal elements in the Snyder Cut campaign was to donate to this charity. Number 21. In order to revive Superman, the League needed additional charge from Flash to generate power. And after Flash successfully transmits that power, he didn't have enough space to slow down, so he crashed into Superman's ship. Now, a lot of people seem to think that Barry phased through the wall of Superman's ship, but here's the proof that he broke the wall and didn't phase through it. Number 22. At this point, he probably smiled a bit when Batman said this about Alfred.
Everyone, this is Alfred. I work for him.
So even though it's the other way around, but out of respect to Alfred, he said the opposite. We saw a similar sort of interaction in Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy as well. Number 23. Batman was standing on his bat tank, aka War Machine, near the end of the film. This is straight from the Dark Knight Returns comics. But notice the mutant gang from the same comics can be seen.
I never noticed that.
Damn, dude.
Whoa!
All tied up right there.
Shit!
Yeah. So distracted by the tank.
That shot so many times.
Yeah.
Oh man, I never noticed that.
Their like attention to the comic book details as well as just the script supervision is off the charts on this movie.
That is insane. Zack Snyder has said that he would love to do a direct adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. No, yeah. Dark Knight Rises is the movie.
Direct remake of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, he would love to do a direct adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, the way how he did Watchmen, like a shot for shot. And I'd be down for that. I'd be 1,000% down for that.
He's the
That'd
guy.
be cool. Yeah, he's the guy to do it, right? Him or Robert Rodriguez.
If you wanted to look exactly like it did on the
direct
page.
Frank Miller comic, yeah.
Yeah, those are your guys. They could collab. I want to see that.
I love
movie.
it. Oh, that's so awesome.
In Barry Allen's intro scene, pay attention to the truck involved in the accident. It says Gardner Fox, which is a reference to DC Comics writer Gardner Fox, who co-created both The Flash and Justice League, as well as introduced the multiverse to DC. Number 25. In the scene where Bruce Wayne meets Barry Allen for the first time, in the background we can see some hand-drawn designs that Barry's been working on. You can see he tried to go for an emblem that is similar to Superman's symbol. And that's it. This would be my breakdown of Zack Snyder's Justice League at 0.25x speed. And I'll admit, it's 1,000 times better than what we've got back in 2017. But if you think about it, you can't really release a 4-hour film in theaters, at least not from the business perspective.
Especially not the way you watch movies.
A 16-hour film.
We finally got the Snyder Cut, and I think it does justice to most of the characters, especially Victor and Barry's. If you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up and grab the subscribe button if you haven't already. Get my official merchandise from the CanadianLad.merchforall.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to get updates about my videos. Till then, I'll see you lads in the next one.
Thank you so much, Canadian Lad.
Killed
That was
it.
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Guys, subscribe to Canadian Lad if you haven't done so already. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. Thank you so much for being here. That was so crazy after all these months to still discover new details, man. And I know a lot of you guys probably saw this video ages ago, but for me, I was that, especially that Mutants one. The Flash and Mutants. The Flash and Mutants one. Best ones. That was amazing. That was so awesome. I love the hell out of that. All right, guys, leave your thoughts down below. Yeah, we'll catch you guys soon.